Tonight from Cincinnati, Ohio, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. It's game one of a three-game series and the final series before the All-Star break. Bucks, despite losing 3 of 4 in St. Louis on this trip, they're only 3.5 back of the Milwaukee Brewers in the division. They're only a game back of the third-place Cincinnati Reds. Greg Brown along with John Wehner. Should be a good series. And we should expect, I would think anyway, John, a pretty good start from Jeff Locke. After all, since his last recall, he's been maybe even better than the first half last year when he went to the All-Star game.
I would say so. Every start has been a quality start. He's gone at least 6 innings in all 6, 7+ in 5 of those. And the changeup has been the big difference maker for me. I mean, he always has come in with that fastball. The changeup is much improved, has a lot more movement on it. You see it there. He gets the swing and miss, keeping guys off balance for the most part, and has really been dominant. And I would say probably a little better than the first half last year.
Jeff Locke, by the way, in 6 career starts against the Reds, an ERA just over 3. And look at what the Pirates starters have done over the last 27 games. You'll find the Pirates ranked among the very best in the National League.
Yeah, very good, the Pirates. I tell you, the starting pitching is why we're back in the race. They're keeping the ball in the ballpark. The pitches per inning, they've been very efficient. Hardly a batting averages to 237. They've been great.
Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds are, well, they're banged up a little bit. They've got a couple of guys on the disabled list, a couple of their stars, including Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips. It's the Buccos and the Cincinnati Reds coming up.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyattoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank. Know where you stand with PNC Total Insight. Let's go Bucks!
And about ready to play ball here in Cincinnati. There is Ramon Santiago. Maybe not quite the pressure that we saw last night from the backup catcher of the St. Louis Cardinals, Todd Cruz, relieving Yadier Molina, but Santiago still to try and fill in for Brandon Phillips, and Joey Votto also on the disabled list. These are two very big losses. Our Allegheny Health Network injury update.
Yeah, you're not going to replace these guys in the lineup. Brandon Phillips, a Gold Glover, and a guy that drove in over 100 runs last year. Joey Votto, a former MVP. Again, a good defensive player, a guy that not having the greatest year this year, probably due to the injuries, but certainly a force in the middle of this lineup. So their work's cut out offensively for the Reds here.
Brandon Phillips and Joey Votto out for a time, and now let's go back to Pittsburgh, a game break, and Rob King.
To you. Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Equinox and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Buck.
And it looks like a nice night for baseball here along the banks of the Ohio River. These two rivals playing for the 11th time this season. The Reds have won 7 of the first 10, including 2 of 3 here in mid-April. We talked about this in St. Louis. The Pirates, no secret, they are going to have to do better against their division rivals. If they are going to even think about overtaking the Brewers and leapfrogging back over Cincinnati and St. Louis. Pirates Toyota lineup looks like this against Matt Latos. Gregory Polanco will lead off, and it's Josh Harrison and Andrew McCutchen. Neil Walker carries a 12-game hitting streak into this ball game tonight. Russell Martin, Pedro Alvarez follow. Gabby Sanchez is at first base. Ike Davis hits the night off. Jordy Mercer at short, and Jeff Flock on the hill.
And on the hill for the Reds, Matt Latos, and boy, he has been impressive since coming off the disabled list. Just his 6th start, 2-1, 241. That 241's inflated actually just from one of those 5 starts where he gave up 5 earned runs and 5 2/3 against Toronto. His other 4 starts, very stingy. He's only given up just 4 earned runs, 12 hits in those 4 starts. So He's going to be tough, even though his velocity's down a little bit. His fastball isn't as firm as I remember. He's averaging around 90 miles per hour, but they're not hitting it. They're hitting that fastball at just a 172 clip.
Big Matt Latos making his 12th career start against Pittsburgh. John mentioned he was on the DL with right elbow and left knee surgeries over the offseason. And we'll take a look at the defense behind him. Speedy Billy Hamilton is in center field. Ryan Ludwig in left. Chris Heisey is in right field. That's because Jay Bruce moves from right to first. Ramon Santiago is at second base with Zach Cozart at short, Todd Frazier at third, and Devin Mesoraco behind the plate. So all eyes really on the right side of this infield. Not only Santiago, but Jay Bruce. He won't start there every day at first base, but he is making his third start over there since Votto was placed on the disabled list. Bruce had not played any first base since high school. So that right side of the infield with Bruce and Santiago and Brian Price, the rookie skipper, former pitching coach of the Cincinnati Reds. They have been playing very good baseball. They've won 6 of 8, 20 of their last 29. And really evenly matched these two clubs over the last month, as the Pirates have won 19 of their last 30.
Yeah, and they've had outstanding pitching. We obviously showed the graphic during the Open in the Pirates ranks, but the Reds starters as well have been pitching deep into games, been very stingy.
Ready to go here, Gregory Polanco. Takes strike one. Josh Harrison to follow. Latos, 26 years old, 6'6", 244 pounds. He's a big right-hander.
Took a little off of that fastball, a little more movement. He has 4 pitches: the fastball, slider, curve, and change.
Polanco for his last 9. It's 1-2. As Polanco plays in just his 30th major league game. One and two. Takes care of Polanco.
Gregory didn't look like he was seeing the ball very well that first at bat. Yeah, you got the bright sunshine, the backdrop here, the sun shining on the black batter's eye. That looked like something off-speed. Not sure if that was a changeup. See if we can see the grip. This looked like a little hanging slider left up middle, and Gregory Polanco coming up empty.
Rivers Casino tips to win.
Well, we hope to get him early. When he gets settled and he starts getting into a groove, very tough to hit, and the Pirates have done excellent work when scoring in the first inning. In fact, they've won their last 13 when scoring in the first. And, also lock him up. Jeff Locke has been outstanding. Hopefully he can keep him off balance, match Latos at least, and take advantage of that right side of the infield. The injuries to Votto, Phillips, a little easier lineup to pitch to.
1-1 on the Cincinnati native, Josh Harrison. Batting .316 this season against Reds pitching. Starling Marte is on the bereavement list. Ball in the air to left. A little bit of trouble for Ludwig initially, but he recovers and makes the catch. Latos gets a strikeout and a fly ball to start this ball game. His 6th start this season since coming off the disabled list, and what a lift this was for the Reds to get him back in their rotation. His 6th big league season. He won't turn 27 until December. Andrew McCutchen, .318 average, 5th in the league. He's also 5th in RBIs with 58. Opposite field home run last night in St. Louis. His 14th of the year and his 10th since June the 1st.
Yeah, he likes these middle months of the season. And one of the toughest guys to get out in June and July.
The big swing, and he came up empty.
Now seeing the 4-seam and the 2-seam fastball early on from Latos. And again, I think the guys are having a little bit of trouble picking the ball up early in this ball game.
That's a piece of it. Look out, Neil Walker on deck. So, John, you think maybe that background, that sun sets, can be difficult?
Yeah, kind of see it at PNC Park, too. You know, there's a lot of shadows. Obviously, you can see the sun shining on that black batter's eye back there, and you get a little bit of a glare.
And that's in the air to right. And Chris Heisey has it measured. So 3 up, 3 down for Latos. Jeff Locke will take the mound in Cincinnati. Reds will come to bat against Jeff Locke in the home half of inning number 1. Billy Hamilton at great speed at the top. 37 stolen bases, 3rd in the big leagues. Zach Cozart follows, then Todd Frazier. Jay Bruce will hit cleanup. Devin Mesoraco, the Punxsutawney native, will bat 5th. Then it's Ryan Ludwig, Chris Heisey, Ramon Santiago, and Matt Latos.
Jeff Locke looking to repeat what he's done his last couple of starts, going 8 innings in each. He's got that ERA down to 3.08. And he's throwing strikes, not walking guys, keeping the ball in the ballpark. He's had some success against these Reds, 2-1 with a 3.03 earned run average in 6 career starts.
Last time out for him against the Phillies, 8 innings. 2 runs, just 1 earned on 3 hits. They got a scare the other day when he had to leave the game, Billy Hamilton, with a strained hamstring. Pushes it up toward first, but too hard, and Gabby Sanchez will try to apply the tag. He missed him. Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
Josh Harrison certainly knows how that feels. Here comes Clint Hurdle.
Gabby had him played perfectly. He was off the line. He was kind of looking for the push bunt, thinking that he might do it with the left-handed pitcher up there. Hamilton obviously bunted it too hard. Gabby charges it, gets it in plenty of time, and then he comes over. Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
Incredible. I mean, that is, we've seen two in the last couple of weeks. Phenomenal plays by base runners. In this case, the batter, Hamilton. And, of course, you know about the Josh Harrison elusive rundown a couple of weeks ago. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Taking nothing for granted.
Allegheny Health Network Super Bowl look at the miss.
Yeah, but if anything got him, it was if he had like a longer lace on the end of that glove, maybe. But missed him by about an inch.
Well, a bunt single for Billy Hamilton. He has stolen 8 bases this season against Pirates pitching. Zach Cozart up in the number 2 spot of the order. Drives this deep to left. And a fair ball off the wall. Hamilton is flying. They've got a shot at home, but he's in. A double and a run scored, and Cozart goes to third. It's 1-0 Cincinnati.
Good start here. Should have had Hamilton and Cozart being aggressive. The scouting report, you know, Jeff Locke likes to come inside. Didn't get it all the way in there. Still not a bad pitch. Cozart able to keep it fair. Harrison does all he can to get it in. Jordy Mercer just a bit late, just a little offline with the throw. And with that throw home, that allows Cozart to move to third.
Well, we talked about it so much with Billy Hamilton since he came into the big leagues last year, and now full-time guy, what that speed can do. You can throw out the on-base percentage. It is meaningless with a guy like Billy Hamilton. Ball 1 on Todd Frazier, the all-star third baseman. Hamilton scores for the 9th time this season against the Pirates. Middle infield back. A ball and 1 strike. Frazier had one of the 3 hits off of Locke in that June 19th game at PNC Park. In fact, Hamilton had led off the game with a double, stole third, and scored on a sacrifice fly by Joey Votto. So this isn't new. The Reds had taken a 1-0 lead in that game. Two and 1 on Frazier. Cozart's 22nd RBI.
Curveball there from Jeff Locke. Pitcher didn't throw a whole lot his last time out. Didn't really need to. Just scattered 3 hits over 8 innings and maybe a handful of breaking balls. Pretty much all fastball changeup.
2 and 2 on Frazier. He's going to participate in the home run derby. Bounces it to third, a play at the plate, and Alvarez will start running toward him. And now Cozart in the rundown. And he stays in long enough to allow Frazier to end up at second.
Yeah, that's a good job by Cozart. You get the quick tag there. You hold the runner Frazier at first, keep him out of scoring position, but that's what you want to do as a base runner. If you're going to break, try to stay in it long enough. Surprised that he is breaking there. I mean, that's the one, you know, to the pitcher or the third baseman with nobody out. You shouldn't be breaking for the plate. But at least he stays in it long enough to get his teammate to second.
On the first out, now Locke faces Jay Bruce. Bruce hitting .206 against left-handed pitching, but has hit 6 of his 10 homers off southpaws. In fact, he's hit 50 against lefties over the last 5 years, the most by any batter in the major leagues.
That's impressive.
Bounced foul. Jay Bruce now playing some first base. He was in a horrific slump, the worst of his career. 0 for 26. It was finally snapped in the series before this past one against the Brewers. Snapped it with a home run. One and two.
It'd be big just to keep these Reds to 1 run here in the first after Kozar got the third with nobody out. Chance to retire Bruce here and keep that man off the bases.
Yes, he did. Well, they'll appeal, and he did. Ryan Knight, the appeal from Fieldon Colbreth, the home plate umpire. 2 outs.
Staying inside on Jay Bruce and didn't have to throw him a strike. For the most part, down and off the plate. Jay Bruce up there hacking.
Two outs, and now Frazier at second for Devin Mesoraco. He's hitting .305 with 15 home runs. Locke and the Pirates need to pitch him carefully. He has feasted on Bucco pitching this season. 10 out of 26, .385 average for Mesoraco against the Bucks this season. He's going to the All-Star game. We don't know yet about Yadier Molina's replacement. We figure we'll know in the next. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just told that Miguel Montero is named as the replacement. We didn't know as of late this afternoon. We asked Clint Hurdle about it, and he basically said either way, love to see Martin get it, but Martin could also use those 4 days off because he has been out there battling, and he's got his share of bumps and bruises. So he'll certainly take those 4 days and enjoy them. Two balls and a strike. And now 3-1.
And got a base open. You're not going to give in here and throw Mesoraco a fastball down the middle and try to get him and maybe chase a pitch or get some soft contact at a good pitcher's pitch. It's a good changeup that Locke's thrown so often. His recall, and he's had such great confidence with it, could throw it at any count.
And he struck him out. And boy, you tip your cap to Jeff Locke. That inning could have gotten away from him in a hurry. He gives up the 1.
Pirates infielder Freddie Sanchez.
Our data of this day in Pirates history. On this day in 2006, Freddie Sanchez announced his first career All-Star game, which was played at PNC Park. Steady Freddie. Joined Jason Bay, of course.
And, you know, that's some comparables with he and Josh Harrison. And Freddie Sanchez kind of came up and was kind of tagged as more of a utility type, not an everyday guy, and got an opportunity, ran with it.
Some wondered whether Billy Hamilton, and it's just a half a season in the big leagues, many in baseball doubted whether he could hit enough to stay in the starting lineup. Well, he's batting .280.
Got a walk-off hit the other day. Yeah, he's handled the bat pretty well, although the hit he got there in the first is questionable. And it's basically a bunt, almost amounted to like a grounder the first.
That's incredible that they gave him a hit. So Clint Barmas is in the dugout as we join the Pirates. Still on the disabled list. Two-0 on Neil Walker. There's Clint Barmas on the DL with a groin injury. Hopes to return in a few weeks. Strike on Walker. 12-game hitting streak for Neil Walker. Has homered 5 times in his last 4 games here. Has hit safely in 20 of his last 21 games played here in Cincy. Lines this ball foul. Walker, Martin, and Alvarez against Latos, who has the early lead. Gets the strikeout. His second.
Again, I still think hitters still having a little bit of a problem picking the ball up. Latos with the changeup. No, it's a breaking ball again. I thought that was a changeup, but just a little slider he left up in the zone. Saw some swings from the Reds batters in the bottom half. Bruce and Mesoraco were, out in front. Chased a few pitches. We've seen it. First 4 batters with the Pirates.
Now Russell Martin pops this ball up toward the first base dugout.
See, actually, let's see there. It's hard to tell. I guess that's the slider. It doesn't look like the little dot you'll see with a slider. Almost looked like he gripped it like a changeup. Watching it live, it looked like a changeup. Didn't look like there was much break to it.
Couple of strikes now on Martin. Stays 0-2. Latos in his 3rd year with Cincinnati. He has given up just the 1 home run in 5 starts this season after giving up 25 in his first year here in 2012, and that stands to reason in this hitter-friendly ballpark. He gave up just 14 in 211 innings last year. Back-to-back 14-win seasons. 3.16 ERA last year for this former Padre.
Get the sense he's really turning into a pitcher. When he was He's always had the good stuff, especially when he was in San Diego, overpowering at times, but he kind of pitched more like a power guy. And now it's about changing speeds, keeping the ball down, edges, mixing it up.
One and two. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's walked just 5 in 35 innings. He really is an imposing looking guy when he's on that mound. He's a big man. 6'6", 244.
You see there, and then all those pitches just on or off the plate. It's hard to get hurt when you're working the edges, staying away.
Bounced and a little bobble, but Frazier stays with it. 5 up, 5 down for Latos to start this game. Here in the second, a strikeout of Neil Walker, and Martin bounces out to Todd Frazier. Here's Pedro Alvarez. 280 career hitter against Latos.
Up a spot in the order. With like Davis getting a night off, Gabby Sanchez getting the start.
That's an indication right there that Alvarez still is out of sorts.
Yeah, out there guessing strike.
My word.
I mean, that ball pitched well out, or bounced well out in front of the plate, nowhere near the strike zone.
Pop up to Frazier. And 6 up, 6 down. 1-0 Cincinnati.
All-Stars along with Tony Watson and Josh Harrison headed to Minneapolis Sunday night after the ballgame. I'm Robbie. It's Mikowski. Today, here at the Visitors Clubhouse of Great American Ballpark, a special delivery came to equipment manager Scott Bonnet, and those are the All-Star jerseys that will be worn by the Pirates contingent. Clint Hurdle, McCutchen, Watson, and Josh Harrison. The All-Star jerseys arrived today. They're going to wear their normal game jerseys, but with the All-Star patches on the right and the 2 stars around the MLB logo at the top of the back area of it. And I asked Josh Harrison what his first reaction was when he saw the All-Star jersey. He said, man, it has not even sunk in yet, and I don't think it will until I set foot on the field at Target Field. I asked Tony Watson the same question. He said, this is all kind of surreal right now. I don't even know what to make of all this. Each guy has family and friends taking care of plans, so a lot of the logistics, Greg and John, have been handled. But it's going to be a neat experience for that man, Clint Hurdle, making his second appearance, and also for the 2 new guys in Watson and Harrison, right?
It's going to be so much fun to see them, I think, introduced. That's always one of my favorite moments, especially for guys. And it is becoming a little bit routine for Andrew McCutchen, though it's different because he is the starter. And assuming that he will start in center field, by the way. We kind of chuckled with him the other day in the clubhouse, Robbie and John, about the fact that there is another center fielder in Carlos Gomez. But as he said kind of kiddingly, well, you know, I did get the most votes. So that would stand to reason that he would be the center fielder, that Carlos Gomez would have to move to left and Yasiel Puig in right. Either way, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I guess Matheny wasn't tipping his hand. Go back to that good changeup from Jeff Locke after falling behind Ludwig. 3-1.
Ludwig, Heisey, and Santiago against Jeff Locke, who ended the first inning with back-to-back strikeouts. Hit hard to the right center gap. And that will go to the wall for a double.
That surprised a little bit there that Locke wouldn't go back to the changeup. 3-2 count. Went with a fastball and got it in. This is a good swing, though. Ludwig keeping the hands inside, not trying to pull it. That pitch on the inner third of the plate. And that's a pretty good swing when you can take a fastball inner third and drive it that hard to the opposite gap.
And at second for Chris Heisey. Ball 1. So far, the Pirates have kept this Pennsylvania native in check. Not the case with Devin Mesoraco, of course, and Matt Adams. They have hit Pirates pitchers extremely well. Heisey 2 for 20 this season against the Bucks. And it's 2-1.
And Jeff Locke has gotten a couple of strikes in there on that inside edge. With the command not quite as good as we've seen it, not yet at least. Yeah, it's such an important pitch for him, and some umpires give him a little more than others. And fielding Colbreth gives Locke that one. Now you see the first pitch was just off the edge. The 2-1 pitch a little further in.
He's the crew chief with Manny Gonzalez at first, Tom Woodring at second, and Brian Knight at third. Gets another chase. That's 3 Ks for Jeff Locke. Heisey not able to move Ludwig.
In. You go away with that changeup. Heisey way out in front, chasing a ball in the dirt. I'm not sure, like in that situation there, if you're hitting 7th and there's a leadoff double, if you're going to give yourself up. Now, Heisey's one of those guys that, he'll try to bunt for a hit or do whatever he can to get the guy over. But with Santiago and then Latos due up, I'm sure he was probably instructed to go ahead and try to drive him in.
Well, explain that, John. Because I mean, so a runner at third now and 1 out. And yeah, it's the 8th hitter. It's Santiago, but what are they? They're not going to work around him, right?
They can. You never know. I mean, but like I said, it's one of those guys. I guess it depends on who it is back there in that 8 hole. Because Heisey's one of those guys. I think if he's batting second right there, he'd probably push bunts. He'll do whatever he can. I think he'd try to get him over. But in this situation, you're not as confident in a guy like Santiago.
So this is a situation then, even though we hear people in baseball say it doesn't matter where they hit, basically, except maybe in the Pirates' case, the guy that hit second in front of McCutchen. But you hear that a lot.
Right.
Or they'll say, I'm not going to change my approach. This ball bounced to Mercer, and he does not throw to first, and it's first and third. Apparently didn't have a handle on it.
No, it's pretty much a swinging bunt. I'm not sure if he didn't have a handle on it or if he didn't think he could get Santiago, who's out in front of the ball, so he gets a good jump out of the batter's box. And hard to say.
First and third and 1 out.
Would have been a bang play for sure. Santiago hustling down the line.
Matt Latos. First and third and 1 out. A Ludwig double to right center. Heisey strikes out, and Santiago an infield single.
But back to the Heisey at bat, I think also that the situation dictates. You got Jeff Locke, who's known for pounding hitters inside with that fastball, and in that situation to try to drive a ball the other way, no easy task. And again, you got a guy like Santiago, the light hitting reserve, hitting behind you.
I mean, I know that's the standard answer from 90% of the players when you ask them, does it matter where you hit? No, I'm not going to change my approach, but sometimes they do.
As far as fundamentals are concerned, when there's a runner on second base and, if you're hitting at the top of the order especially, I mean, your approach has to be to hit the ball the other direction.
Oh, Martin with a stab and getting one there, and they turn a double play, an impossible double play. Russell Martin continues to show his Gold Glove caliber play in 2014.
He is just cat-like quick. He just pounces on this ball immediately. The bare hand off balance throw. Jordy Mercer takes care of the rest.
jumping out of that catcher's box and gunning to second on the bunt by Latos and turning it into a double play. And he already has one Gold Glove on his mantle, and he's working on a second this year.
It's pretty impressive how he can get out of there, and as quick as he is, avoiding the bat, avoiding Latos,
making sure it doesn't hop a second time,
looking like a third baseman with the off-balance throw. Incredible.
Jeez.
While all that happened, Ryan Ludwig was just kind of standing there spectating at third base. It's like, what are you
doing standing watching that play? I mean, any little, it's surprising from Ludwig, by the way. Yeah, but, any little, that throws just a little bit off at second.
I mean,
late at first, anything.
Yeah, it's just, obviously with Martin coming to field it, I mean, you're not going to venture too far away, but he's going to go to second. Once he goes to second, you got to break because you're going to figure it's like a double play. It's like a ground ball double play. Reds, some shaky base running early.
See if that will hurt them and cost them. As Gabby Sanchez takes strike one. And to shallow right center field. And Chris Heisey coming on to make a diving catch. He made up a lot of ground in a hurry.
Yeah, he's a good outfielder. Just one of those guys that kind of like Josh Harrison, just goes out there and he's only plays the outfield, but he hustles. He does the little things right. He has some pop in his bat. A real good outfielder. We've seen him here at center field make some unbelievable plays. Fearless.
So one out, and now Jordy Mercer. The first 7 have been retired by Latos. Sure about Latos okay. Now, he took a while before he threw a pitch, and now Mesoraco is out, and here comes Brian Price and a Reds trainer. Latos has been through enough. He probably doesn't even want to think about being hurt, if indeed he is. The last thing the Reds need, of course.
Yeah.
They had Homer Bailey leave the game yesterday early. The knee issue.
It's the third time in the last 3 days, right? We've seen the trainer out.
Yeah.
Talking to a pitcher.
Let's see if we can detect anything. Well, this is before Mercer got into the box. He was taking his time before he even got to the pitching rubber. Steps off the rubber. John, you've had back issues in the past. Could it be?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's kind of lifting up that left leg, like, which is his plant leg. I mean, I don't know if it's back or leg or. Was the left knee that he had surgery on this spring.
And of course, now you speculate. That's what we do. But it's hard to imagine that they're even discussing it. But they're going to keep him in. You would think that they would be extra cautious. Latos convinces them he's okay. This is the pitch.
Looked like he kind of, the way he landed, he maybe hyperextended it a little bit.
It was the first pitch to Mercer. No problem with velocity there. 1-1. Two balls and a strike. We'll keep a close eye, as I'm sure Brian Price is, on Matt Latos the rest of the way. Hit hard to left. Going back toward the wall, and the catch made by Ludwig. 2 outs.
Just got in on him just a little bit. Mercer looked like he was looking for the fastball in. He gets the fastball in. And whether it was just down off that barrel just a little bit. This little ballpark, you barrel it up, it's going to end up in the seats.
Now Jeff Locke, so it's 8 up and 8 down for Latos. Leave it up to Jeff Locke to deliver the first hit of the game for the Pirates. A line single to left center. His second hit of the season in the big leagues. 2 for 14.
And he has a nice looking swing, kind of easy breezy, just throws the bat head out there. Short, quick. Look a little like Doug Frobel.
Yeah, it did. Doug Frobel. Great call. Former Pirate Doug Frobel. That was his swing. And now Gregory Polanco struck out in the first.
And we'll see second time through if these guys see the ball any better. And no more the background's a little darker. Some awkward looking swings from Polanco back in the first. So you can see the sun setting, so there's still a little bit of sun at the top of that, but that shouldn't be a factor.
Popped it up and maybe playable. Ludwig there. Latos gives up the 2-out hit to his mound opponent, but it's still 1-0 Cincy. For the Cincinnati Reds, they lead 1-0. Billy Hamilton started the bottom of the first inning by bunting hard right to Gabby Sanchez. Gabby Sanchez will tell you that that should be an out, and
yeah, it looked like it was going to be an easy out. Catch it, and he's obviously went over to tag Hamilton. He also could have went back and just tried to touch first base, but went for the tag, and then you see the Houdini act. Billy Hamilton able to avoid the tag somehow. Kind of reminds you of this.
Talk about Houdini.
Not quite as impressive as that.
Right.
That was incredible.
He did about 4 Hamiltons there on that play. But for the time being, they've called that a hit for Billy Hamilton, but that you would think would change.
I mean, you can almost sit there and think of it almost like just grounded to first.
Yeah, it's a routine ground ball.
Now, obviously, you have some urgency, and that's the speed of Billy Hamilton's going to speed an infielder up. And the way Gabby charged it and went for the tag, wasn't expecting Hamilton to be able to put that little move on at full speed.
Two 2-0 on Billy Hamilton. His on-base percentage is just .314. Line to the center field and a base hit. We want to see how you root for your Buccos. Our AT&T fan photo of the day. Show us how you are rooting on the Pirates tonight and through this weekend. And submit your photo via Twitter. Use the hashtag BucsFanPhoto, and we'll show them during our broadcast. The AT&T fan photo. Obviously, big crowds expected, all three, for the Pirates and the Reds. There he goes.
Hurry up.
Better hurry. And got him. Hamilton not convinced. We expect to see Brian Price come out.
Well, the ball definitely beat him. It's just a matter of if that tag got down in time. Tell from that shot.
Both umpire and manager looking into the dugout, and the thumbs down, so no challenge. Big pickoff there for Locke. Gabby Sanchez, Jordy Mercer.
You know what's funny about the whole replay thing is how often the players are wrong.
Yes.
When they're getting called out or whatever, and they start calling the manager out. Then you get the replay. The umpires are right.
It's interesting to see how they are speeding that process up, by the way. We'll take another look, different angle.
Hard to tell if it got the foot.
Not clear and convincing. Second base umpire Tom Woodring actually started to walk toward the dugout, and he met Brian Price almost at the pitcher's mound. Well, now they're not just standing there, they're positioned waiting for the managers to go all the way out. One and two on Cozart.
Cozart looks like, by the way?
Alex Presley.
Alex Presley. Every time I see him, I think of Alex Presley. Two and two on Cozart. The RBI double off the wall and left in the first inning.
Locke turned out to be a spot start in San Francisco on May the 5th, and then was optioned back down to the minors. Back up June the 8th, and he has stuck. Weekly hit on 2 hops to Mercer. 2 outs. Can you beat the best? Join millions of players now on the only official Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com. Square off against your friends from around the world live in multiplayer derby mode and climb to the top of the leaderboards. Download today for free on the Apple App Store and Google Play. Todd Frazier will be in the Home Run Derby. And a liner into center field.
Jeff Locke chucking and ducking. Got that ball down the middle of the plate. Frazier turns it around, and Jeff Locke not taking any chances.
Sixth hit for Cincinnati. Bruce struck out in the first. The overshift once again. Alvarez at short. One and one on Bruce. He is 2 for 13 lifetime versus Jeff Locke. Ball's behind 2-1.
Just hasn't had that fastball command. Not what we've seen these last 6 starts. He's been pretty consistent, putting it where he wants to. Trying to work Jay Bruce in, stayed inside on him in that first at bat, got him swing and miss at a strike 3. You would think you'd have thinking in here with 2 strikes, maybe throw that breaking ball, see if you get a chase. Nope, Russell Martin wants it in there again.
Popped it up, long run for Alvarez. And Locke and Martin. A routine out when the third baseman is playing in his regular spot.
Russell Martin. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, the fact that he got there, you think about where he started, where he ended up.
From his crouch behind home plate, he ran about 90 feet. Over 90 feet. That's incredible.
Yep. Still 2-2. And bounce towards second. Walker on that shift retires Bruce. Still 1-0 Reds.
Jay, and now we're pleased to be joined by Shay. It's Sean Harrison, Josh's older brother by 3 years. Josh, the youngest of 3 boys. And Sean, when you look at your mom and dad, the rest of your family, what have the last couple months been for you and your family watching Josh blossom into an all-star?
I mean, we're floored just like he is. We've been ecstatic, but at the same time, we've been seeing this our whole life. So just to actually being able to see him perform on a daily basis, that's where we get a lot of our satisfaction. And the all-star game and all of that, that kind of came with it. Like, and so it doesn't surprise us. We're just happy that he's able to do what he does.
Now, what qualities, growing up playing against him as his older brother, what qualities did you and your family see in him that showed you that one day he could become a big league all-star?
Okay, first of all, we used to play baseball in the backyard with a small piece of paper with tape around it for the weight, and a little ballpark bat that you get here at the ballpark, and that ball do Looney Tunes tricks, and we all had the hand-eye coordination. We knew he was going to be a hitter and knew that he loved this game.
Now, a lot of people, we've talked about Josh and the music, his walk-up music, and it's actually you. You're a musical artist, and you make that music. What can you tell us about how that whole thing started?
Well, it really started, like, he's always been a fan of my music, like I've been a fan of whatever he does as far as sports. And when it came down to it, the chance to make his music, I made it the first year he was a freshman at UC. And, you know, with the fans supporting, now you see everybody moving. It worked out, and I just kept it going. He said I need it every year. People love it. I love to do it, and, you know, it just worked out like that.
There it is. And Shay Greg has a show coming up next month in Manhattan, New York. So whenever you think you see Josh coming up, it's this guy's voice right here that you hear on the loudspeakers. Shay.
That's great stuff, Robbie. I know how close Josh is with his brothers. I know that Shay and Vince, his older brothers, played baseball. Sean played at Odessa Community College in Texas, and his brother Vince played at Kentucky. In fact, played some football his first 2 years there as well. They all have worn that number 5. 5 members of the family, the 3 brothers, mom and dad. Josh Harrison down on strikes. And that is the 3rd K for Latos. Here's Andrew McCutchen. Fly to right in the first inning. Into right center field. Hamilton back, clear the deck. Cannonball coming in Cincinnati. Andrew McCutchen, his 18th home run of his career against the Reds, his 15th of the year, ties the game at 1.
You know, when you're within a run and you have this guy in your lineup, I was thinking that before the pitch. It's like, you know you have a chance. It doesn't matter what's gone on the last 3, 4, whatever innings. When he's in your lineup and it's a 1-run game, he can change it. One swing of the bat. Fastball up, out over the plate. Amazing.
His 11th home run since June the 1st. He and Marlon Byrd of the Phillies have hit the most since that date.
Up, out over the plate. Not a horrible pitch. Latos knew it right away. You can tell by the crack of the bat. Amazing. That power.
Hit hard, but at the first baseman, the new first baseman, Jay Bruce, can't handle it. Hard ball hit at Jay Bruce, comes off his glove.
Certainly helps that he played there some. I mean, it's a difficult position if you've never played there. He's played there some in high school, as you mentioned earlier. But at this level, the speed of the game, it's not a position that you're just going to go out there and play well, you know, without some games, some experience.
For so long, John, it seemed that people figured you just throw him at first base if he if you need to keep him in the lineup, over the years, any big leaguer, he should be able to play first base. But it really is tougher than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not easy. You ask Cliff Barmas, I bet he'll tell you he's least comfortable there than anywhere else.
Earlier today, working at first base, Jay Bell, who is the bench coach, has been working with Jay Bruce. Of course, Bell, the former Pirate shortstop, and later in his career, Jay Bell actually filled in for defensive purposes with the Mets. And they had Mo Vaughn there.
It's not easy. And the decision maker, you're in the outfield your whole career. I mean, you have responsibilities if the ball's hit you or if it's not, as far as backing up bases or whatever. At first base, there's a ton of responsibilities.
Runner will go as the ball trickles back toward the backstop.
Break there. You get the air. Now you get what I believe is a passed ball. And that ball not in the dirt, just gets underneath the Reds catcher. So scoring chance here for Russell Martin.
Pass ball charge to Mesoraco after the error on Bruce.
I fortunately didn't have to play over there very much.
I was just going to ask you how often you played over there, John.
And I just, it's just so different. It's just so weird, and you get caught at times. I mean, there's been times there's base hits with runners in second. I'm watching the right fielder throw it home, forgetting that I was supposed to be the relay man, or happened more times in center than right. But yeah, it's there's some responsibility over there. Everything seems a little backwards, especially if you're used to playing the left side of the infield, get moved to the right side. But being an outfielder your entire career and then moving into first base, that's going to take some time to get comfortable.
And Martin bounces this ball foul just outside of third. Well, I guess you can relate. You played little first base in 1992, didn't play it again, at least in the big leagues, until 2001. A long gap.
That's a big
Did you play
gap.
some of the minors?
A little bit. Yeah, not very often, though. But
third start for Jay Bruce at first base.
Russell Martin, a late decision. Figured he had to fight that one off. Maybe looking for something else, and just able to get a piece of wood on that ball.
Still 3-2, 1-1. He is fouled off there. I thought it might have been off his hand. It's still 3-2 on Russell Martin, who's this season batting .319 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, doing a great job in the clutch. I like this approach. I know Clint Hurdle has talked about Russell Martin's approach with 2 strikes, shortening up, using the whole field.
Check swing, and it's ball 4. That brings up Pedro Alvarez. It's the first walk for Latos.
Latos wanted this pitch. Not that close. Good 4-6 inches off the plate.
Pedro Alvarez popped up in the second. 2 on, 1 out. And looking again for a big hit here from Pedro Alvarez still looking to get in that groove. Checks and takes ball one.
And it's really amazing because he hasn't had that real breakout series that we've seen him have over the course of the last few years. He was so comfortable and so confident and swinging the bat so well in spring training, but never really got there once the season started.
Fault blocked by Mesoraco well out in front of the plate, and that one hurt.
Yeah, that came up high on him. You're just at the mercy of the hop at that point in time. As a catcher, you just try to square your body up best you can and hit him in a couple different places.
Two 2-0 on Alvarez with Walker and Martin aboard. Alvarez has 44 RBIs, has had a lot of chances to drive in runs this season. It's a high fly ball to right field. If it's fair, and it is way gone. A 3-run bomb. He is bullish on the Cincinnati Reds. Pedro Alvarez. 3-run bomb gives the Bucks a 4-1 lead.
Well, maybe this is the series. Pedro Alvarez carries the team. Lays off a couple of pitches out of the zone, gets the 2-0 fastball, and crushes it.
Boy, Latos cruising into this fourth inning. Remember, had given up just one home run before tonight, and now the Pirates with their second of the inning.
Fastball up, out over the plate, much like the McCutchen home run.
And now the other way for Gabby Sanchez toward the line, and in fair territory, Heisey makes the catch for the second out. Again, Pedro Alvarez, his 15th home run, a 3-run shot.
Such a good fastball hitter, and that, that's where you get into trouble. He's got Pedro to chase in the second inning, but when you fall behind 2-0, if you're going to come at him with a fastball up, out over the plate, you're going to give up a crooked number. That's a big hit.
And 4 spot off of Matt Latos. Alvarez homered in that series against the Cardinals. It's his 15th, now 47 RBIs. Just his 7th hit in 38 at-bats against the Reds this season.
How about I'm sure there's a little friendly competition between McCutchen and Pedro. The home run race, I know the last one they hit just within an inning or two apart. This
back and forth, same inning, 15 each. McCutchen's traveled 393 feet. Alvarez almost 420. And now Mercer with a fly ball toward right center field. Hamilton, a long run, will get there. Buccos used the long ball against Matt Latos. Andrew McCutchen with one out hit his 15th to tie the game. And the Bucks, a little bit of help from an error and a walk, 2 aboard for the Bull.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture, proudly featuring solid wood American-made Amish furniture. For furniture that lasts, shop Levin. Let's go Bucks!
Pedro Alvarez, 3-run bomb. Makes it 4-1. McCutchen tied it at 1. Oh, it's exciting to think the Pirates, after that miserable April, have played such good ball since early May, back in the race, and yet they have pretty much done it without that Alvarez bat. Like, you know, the way he can swing it.
Yeah.
And so if he gets going and Marte returns, once again, you've got the big three. Josh Harrison playing just about everywhere. It's a very formidable lineup.
The way Walker's been swinging it, you know, he's coming back into form after, you know, a little struggle after the DL stint. Russell Martin hitting over 300, as you mentioned, with runners in scoring position.
We will see the return of Francisco Liriano for this rotation. If he can get back to his 2013 form, no reason to think that this club can't go on. It's already been a pretty nice run, but I mean some kind of tear second half.
Well, there's no question with the starting pitching in this offense. Like you said, there's just that Alvarez bat's huge, and if he starts breaking out, this team can go and easily run off 6-7 straight, win 8-9 of 10. Should be a fun division race, though.
Yeah. Last year there were 3. This year there are 4. A 4-team battle for the top spot in the National League Central. Popped way up in the air. McCutchen all day to get under it. 1 out. Check out a Barrel league leader stat: 12 homers and 12 stolen bases. Major league leaders: Andrew McCutchen, 15 each. Todd Frazier also on that list. Charlie Blackmon of the Colorado Rockies. Ryan Dozier of the Twins. Carlos Gomez of the Brewers. The others. There's Ryan Ludwig. Brewers are hosting the Cardinals. 3-game series. Early on, a 1-0 Milwaukee lead. Bottom of the first. These Reds just finished off a series against the Chicago Cubs. It was a 5-game series. The Reds winning the first 4. 12 innings yesterday, the Cubs won. Big swing, 1-2 on Ludwig. Locke trying to put up a 0 after his club just handed him 4, erasing the 1-0 deficit.
Trying to get in there, just a little too high, a little too far in, and Russell Martin flinching, because so often you see those catchers get hit whether the ball gets fouled off like that, or even if it hits the batter, it ends up coming and getting a piece of the catcher. And Locke once again just missing that inside edge, and let's see what he goes with. He's had pretty good command with the changeup. Does he try once again to go in there, or does he try to get Ludwig to chase that changeup? Looks like the changeup.
In line, caught by Alvarez.
Nicely done.
2 outs.
Throw strikes, make them put it in play, and that's one thing Locke has been very good at this year. Hasn't walked very many, just 6 and 49 and 2/3 innings coming in. So you add another 3 2/3 to that, so 53 plus innings. Just 6 walks. Make them swing it.
Hit high and foul off to the left by Heisey, and out of play. Looking for his first 1-2-3 inning is Jeff Locke. All-star last year. Finished the season 10-7. His first full year in the majors. And a comebacker. Locke a little concerned that it was hit harder than it was, and throws and still gets Heisey. And there's the 1-2-3 inning he was looking for. 4-1 Buccos. Get an all-access view into the life of Starling Marte. Travel back to his home country, the Dominican Republic. Meet his family, friends, and former coaches, all people who helped shape him into the player and person he is today. Driven, Starling Marte, Sunday at noon on Root Sports. "4-1 onto the 5th. Jeff Locke will lead things off against Matt Latos, the first of this 3-game series. Division starting out today with the Cardinals 2 up on Milwaukee, the Reds 2.5 back, and the Pirates 3.5 games behind. So a win tonight, and they're back into a 3rd-place tie with Cincy. And they do need to turn things around within their division. They have lost 7 of 10 to the Reds this season, after going 11-8 last year.
The Reds have by far the best record in the Central. 10 games up, 26-16, and they've handled everyone except the Cardinals, the only team they've struggled with in the Central. They've won every series against every other division.
Yeah, but Milwaukee, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh all with 21 wins against its division. Pirates have played more games against the Central. Of course, Johnny Cueto has been a big part of why the Reds have had good numbers against Central Division opponents. And Alfredo Simon has been easily their biggest surprise, one of the biggest surprises in all of baseball with what he has done.
He didn't make the All-Star team, huh?
No.
12-3 with a 2.7.
First National Leaguer to win a dozen games.
It's crazy.
Alfredo Simon, 7th in the league in ERA. Cueto's 3rd in the league. And a walk to Jeff Locke. Well, you know that Latos is off his game. He walks his mound opponent to start the 5th inning. Shaking his head.
Yeah, we talked about how Locke has been pounding the strike zone. So has Latos. He only had 5 walks in his 5 starts. 3 of those coming in one of them.
Gregory Polanco has struck out and flied to left, and now should be no problem in terms of the backdrop.
Yeah, everybody's seeing the ball a lot better now. Just shade has covered the field. I think all hitters would rather have overcast skies till about 8 o'clock in the summer.
And 2.
And his timing's just a little bit off. Everything the first few weeks as a Pirate was just so smooth and effortless. Everything was on time. The hands were working. He's been a little off, a little jumpy.
Second time he has seen the Reds. He made his debut in the big leagues June the 10th in that Cubs series. He had 5 hits in the 3-game series against the Reds at PNC Park, June 17th through the 19th.
Only 3 hits in the last series against the Cards, all off of Martinez.
1 game. Wow, swings and misses. Taking off for second base is the pitcher, Jeff Locke, and he's going to be thrown out. Tried to advance at the ball in the dirt. 2 away.
I'll go in and rest stop him. Don't see that very often. If the ball goes to the screen, you'll see the pitcher take off. But Mesoraco does a nice job recovering. What else I liked about what he did right there? He never looked up to look at the runner. Mesoraco, you see that all the time. The catchers will kind of get up, they'll look up to see if the runner's going, and you probably lose about a step. Mesoraco,
once again, John, checking on Latos. I don't want to go overboard here, but I mean, it's hard to believe that they frankly left, if there was any problem at all, that he would stay in the game. Right. I hate to say that, because Brian Price is pitching coach. If anybody's being protective of his pitchers, it's Price.
Sure.
But, wow.
He's obviously convincing them that
both times.
Just fine.
For that last pitch, a little look.
Well, maybe they thought, no, there is a little bit of a limp, but yeah, a limp and a grimace.
They're going to get somebody loosening in their bullpen now. Latos is due up second in the bottom of this 5th inning. Carlos Contreras starts to loosen in the bullpen for Cincinnati. 0-1 the count. 0-2 the count, rather. On Josh Harrison. And he hits this deep but foul. Now it's 0-2 on Jay Hay. He has flied out and struck out. Look at this. Bat lands in front of the shortstop on the strikeout. Head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 4-1 Pittsburgh. He was met by his manager, Brian Price, who seems to be telling him that he's done. As we said, if anybody is protective of the pitchers, it is Brian Price, the former pitching coach, now the manager. Latos a bit dejected. In fact, we just saw him tossing his batting gloves over the dugout roof and into the seats. He goes into the clubhouse. Santiago swings at the first pitch, and he's thrown out. 5-3. Now Mike Leake, a pitcher, will bat. 6-3 on the putout. And Leake, a good hitting pitcher at that, will hit for Latos.
Yeah, they got a short bench, so not going to use anybody here in this situation.
Yeah, they went 12 innings, so they used their bullpen, which is a rarity these days. Their starters have gone 7-8 innings seemingly every night, but they called up a couple of pitchers. They placed Phillips on the DL, and so they are short on the bench. And Mike Leake, tomorrow night's starting pitcher, will bat. Five for 40 at the plate with a home run this season.
You can't fault them for erring on the side of caution. You know, Latos, as well as he's pitched, having the knee injury earlier, only makes sense. They got a ton of guys in that bullpen. Crowded. 9 relievers.
7 righties, 2 lefties.
Well, maybe it's not so crowded. A lot of room down there. But still, 9 guys. There's a lot.
It's a lot. 2-2 Leak. Forcing Jeff Locke through at least another pitch after Billy Hamilton swung at the first pitch, or rather Ramon Santiago did. Billy Hamilton is on deck. Santiago swung at the first pitch and bounced out, and a strikeout for Locke. That's number 4. Locke gets Leak. Be sure to download the At the Ballpark app on your mobile phone and check in the next time you're at PNC Park. This free app available to all fans includes a chance to win seat upgrades, concession vouchers, and more. Download the At the Ballpark app with Google Play or the App Store on your phone, your iPhone, or Android. Two down. Little mini string now. 6 retired straight by Jeff Locke. Billy Hamilton, the switch hitter. That's .235 as a right-handed hitter.
Just spin him around a little bit. Get him off the plate.
And you could see that had an effect on that next swing.
Oh, yeah. Go to the changeup, had him way out in front. Pops it up behind him. I think he should give Hamilton a pretty good pitch to hit here. Big lead. 3-1 count. Make him put it in play. Change up. Russell Martin set up right down the middle. It's nice to have confidence in a pitch that I can just throw this one up, get a strike.
Deep at foul. Locke, 2 hits in the first inning, including the Billy Hamilton bunt single. The RBI double by Cozart, and there's a line drive just over the glove. Neil Walker and Billy Hamilton is 3 for 3.
Last 2 hits, nice looking swings. Pretty close to the same neck of the woods. The 3rd inning single and this 5th inning base hit. Walker about a foot too short.
3-hit night so far for Billy Hamilton. Caught stealing in the 3rd. Strike 1 on Zach Cozart. To left, Harrison makes the catch. Well, Jeff Locke gave it that first inning run, 0 since. And it's 4-1 Pittsburgh. Bucco baseball. And Andrew McCutchen, along with Pedro Alvarez, hitting the home runs in the 4th inning that erased the 1-0 deficit. They're both with 15 now on the year. Here's the 4th inning home run that tied it.
Fastball up out over the plate, and when McCutchen's swinging the bat well and hitting home runs, he's using the whole field. Deep to right center. All business. Andrew McCutchen. And that kind of opened the floodgates, and that inning took advantage of a miscue on Neil Walker's ground ball. Reached on an error, a walk by Martin, another good at bat by him, and then the 3-run bomb by Pedro.
Here is Carlos Contreras, new Reds pitcher, 23-year-old native of Santiago Domingo, the Dominican Republic. His first stint in the big leagues. He was actually optioned back to their AAA affiliate in Louisville yesterday, but rejoined the team after the 12-inning loss last night to the Cubs. The Reds used 6 relievers. They placed Brandon Phillips on the DL, so they brought back Contreras.
keep the ball down. Never good to fall behind Andrew McCutchen. He's dangerous at any count, but you make a mistake, 2-0, 3-1, liable to put another one in the seats.
Lines it sharply into left center field. Hit so hard that Ludwig, who wasn't all that far away from the ball, not able to cut it off before it hits the wall.
Never good to fall behind Andrew McCutchen.
As you were saying.
And just throw him a fastball in there. And again, it wasn't that far from Ludwig, and Ludwig knew he couldn't cut it off. I mean, that ball down the middle, center cut, and smoked.
Ooh.
He was thinking 3 out of the box, but the ball handled by the speedy Hamilton. He got over there quickly and hurried up and threw it in.
27 doubles. Only 3 players in the National League have more doubles than McCutchen. Walker has struck out, reached on an error, and scored. Got that 12-game hitting streak going. This is where, of course, he made his major league debut. 2009.
September 1st, right?
Yep. He was a pinch hitter, and Brandon Phillips
robbed him. Yep. And Neil, even though he's in the cleanup spot and counting on to drive in runs, he's a guy that will try to move Andrew McCutchen over. I would think that he would do his very best to drive a ball to the right side. Tried to, got out in front of the off-speed pitch. If it was just a change or a split.
And that will move McCutchen.
That'll do it.
Looking to get that important run in here in the 6th, and Walker able to move McCutchen 90 feet. A chance for Russell Martin with the infield in.
And he's satisfied with that. I guarantee you, Neil Walker happy with being able to get the job done, give Russell Martin a chance for an RBI. Sounded as if he gave Pedro a quick scouting report. Two-seamer changeup, I think, is what he had said to his good buddy. Infield in, so Russell Martin try to get a ball in the air.
He does, and he delivers. RBI single for Russell Martin. A 5-1 Pirates lead.
I really believe that's what's made Russell really, it's turned his season around in terms of driving in runs. The runners in scoring position wasn't nearly this high last year because he's getting that breaking ball and he's not trying to pull it. He's staying back on it, keeping the hands back, staying through the middle to the right side. You know, so often last year we've seen him in these situations. He kind of got a little pull happy, got a little bit out in front. He'd hit that same pitch on the ground to the left side. At times.
Alvarez crushed his 15th home run of the season with 2 on in the 4th. Facing the rookie, Carlos Contreras. 1 and 2. The block by Mesoraco keeps Russell Martin at first base. Martin with 5 hits in his last 10 at bats, with runners in scoring position.
Pedro, it's really amazing when you look up and you see his numbers to date. 242, 15, and 47.
You look at the numbers, you think, that's pretty solid. Double that. Pretty good season, but he's not even close to where he could be.
It's amazing, yeah. I mean, he's been frustrated and inconsistent, and still, I mean, it's the kind of damage that he can do being inconsistent. The damage that he will do when he becomes consistent could be amazing.
Tied for the league lead in home runs when all was said and done last year. Drove in 100. Carlos Contreras played in the All-Star Futures game in the All-Star Week last season. That ball mishandled by Bruce, but foul. Ball, 2 strikes the count on Alvarez. Contreras played for the World Team in the All-Star Futures game last year. And a strikeout of Alvarez for the second out. And it brings up Gabby Sanchez. We get word that Matt Latos left the game with lower back spasms.
Oh, wow. We were all off. I was, at least.
Yeah, I thought that might have been it.
You were.
Yeah.
You were on it. I dismissed it.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. And those are no fun. I mean, you're just stiff and no flexibility, and pretty amazing that he was able to stay out there and pitch a few innings.
I think it is really interesting. I guess we'll find out after the game. Certainly when the reporters ask the Reds about that first visit to the mound.
Yeah.
That's when he first obviously was feeling it.
Yeah.
But they felt, and he convinced them that it was no big deal. But the second time, Brian Price, after letting him finish that inning, decided to get him out of there. We'll see what impact that has. If it's going to force them. Of course, they've got the All-Star break coming up. They just really got Latos back. He was making only his 6th start this season, coming off the DL. When you try and predict divisions and the races at the beginning of the year, and even at the All-Star break, you just cannot.
No.
Because so many factors come into play, including injuries.
And another amazing thing is, despite the injuries to your offensive players, like here with the Cincinnati Reds and Phillips and Votto, they're running a quality starter at you each and every time out. It's going to be hard to score runs against them. And St. Louis, their offense production's way down. The same thing. You're running into good starter after good starter. That's why Milwaukee, to me, with what they've done the first half, isn't a fluke, because they have a good rotation. They have probably a deeper lineup than most.
Former Pirate hitting coach Don Long, the hitting coach now the Reds.
You wonder, though. I wonder, though, with Milwaukee and that bullpen. They've gotten off to a good start. It was kind of an Achilles heel in Milwaukee last year, but this year they were lights out through the first few months. But you wonder if they could stay as productive and healthy.
Well, that's the other thing too, by the way, the health issues and then the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Between now and the end of July, how do these clubs change their look? Gabby Sanchez fouls out to Bruce. Andrew McCutchen doubled to start the inning. He scored on the Martin base hit, and the Pirates now lead 5-1.
Players on other teams knew our atmosphere that we had here in Pittsburgh, and they wanted to come and play for the Pirates, not only because of the ball club we had, but because of the manager we had as well.
Former Bucco Jim Rooker talking about Chuck Tanner, the support, encouragement, backing he often gave his guys, as he liked to call them. Hear more from Rubo Rock and others celebrating the career of Chuck Tanner. Special Inside Pirates Baseball tomorrow at 6 on Root Sports.
Did you hear that his place burned down?
I saw that. The old Rook's place in Ambridge. Yeah. He had sold it, I think, a couple years ago. But, that's sad. It is. Quite a landmark. (5-1) going to the bottom of the 6th. It's Todd Frazier against Jeff Locke. 3-4-5 in the order. Frazier has one of the 7 hits.
And Locke settled in. Kind of picked up the pace and throwing the ball more where he wants to. A little trouble, I think, early on, commanding especially the fastball.
You know the Jeff Locke story by now. Ray Searage was proud to call him one of his all-stars last year. Great first half. Then just before the all-star break, he tweaked his back. And not to make excuses, but Clint Hurdle would later say it really messed up Locke's routine. He would skip a start around that all-star break. He went to the all-star game, didn't pitch in it. But then his workout routine changed. Fly ball toward right center field. McCutchen for the first out. And John, you know, as a former big leaguer, big leaguers and especially pitchers, I guess, are such creatures of habit that if you disrupt any routine, it can. Now, some guys it probably doesn't matter. But then, Locke is pitching in his very first full season in the big leagues. And so it did disrupt him.
I would think for a pitcher it would affect him more than anybody else. They go out there every 5 days, and I think it has to be respected how much it takes out of you. I mean,
Bruce tries to bunt for a hit off the mound. Locke in a hurry, guns it to first and gets Bruce.
Nicely done.
With the shift on against him.
And that's got to be frustrating. You got a power hitter. He's just trying to get on base, unable to butt the ball hard enough or close enough to the line. All he has to do is get it down the line, get it by the pitcher. It's a hit. But Locke, who falls off to that side. But yeah, I think there's more. Obviously it's consistent torque and turn with a pitcher. Having a back issue, I mean, if you're a position player, you might only touch the baseball a handful of times a game, so you can kind of just deal with it and move around and try to stay loose that way. And then, obviously going up to hit, I think adrenaline and just concentration, you kind of forget about it.
What a good look that was, too. You talk about a guy determined. Jeff Locke is zeroing in on 6 innings once again. But with all that, he had a really miserable second half of the season. Finished with a 6.12 ERA. Didn't finish in the rotation. Boy, he finishes off Mesoraco in a 10-pitch inning.
copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
5-1 Pirates lead going to the 7th inning. And here in the top of the 7th inning, Jeff Locke is due up second. And between innings, pitching coach Ray Searage checking in on Locke. Clint Hurdle checking in. So he says good to go.
And Hurdle put up 2 fingers. Hey, you're up second.
Yep. Second inning for Contreras. Mercer flied to the wall and left his first time up, and then flied out to right center field in his second at bat against Matt Latos, who left with back spasms. Rookie Carlos Contreras out in front of Jordy Mercer, 0-2. Milwaukee is shutting out St. Louis 6-0.
Just the second inning?
I don't know how that's possible. Only the second inning.
Took him an hour to play the first 2.
Great strikeout of Mercer. Second K for Contreras. Jeff Locke has singled and walked. By the way, not a very good return for Joe Kelly off the disabled list tonight for the Cardinals. 6 runs in 2 innings, 6 hits. And 2. He takes care of Jeff Locke. After the All-Star break, Pirates back home. A week from tomorrow, they'll host the Colorado Rockies at PNC Park. And Rennie Stennett will be out at the block party on Federal Street before the game and after the game's Zambelli fireworks. Presented by 84 Lumber. Go to Pirates.com for tickets. Pirates and the Colorado Rockies, Troy Tulowitzki, Justin Morneau and company. And homestand also includes a series against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we would expect to see Clayton Kershaw pitch one of those games anyway. 3 with the Rockies starting a week from tonight, and then 3 with the Dodgers following. And Polanco, who has struck out twice, is in the hole 0-2. Polanco having a rough night of it. He strikes out for the 3rd time, and the Pirates strike out in order. But they're up 5-1 on the Reds. Sharks performing tomorrow night at Stage AE in Pittsburgh. Here in Cincy, Pirates up 5-1, and first pitch swinging, Ryan Ludwig. Look out! Pedro Alvarez guns it into the camera well. And without a doubt, this is one of the most bizarre things we've seen, I mean, in a long time. Remember, Steve Sachs had trouble throwing the ball to first base, but Pedro Alvarez has what they used to call that thing.
He keeps his he keeps his feet moving, and he sets up nicely, and it's just like a release point. It's hard to explain. I don't think even the guys that have gone through it can explain it.
Russell Martin looked toward third and then figured, let's get the sure out at first.
Yeah, he's probably mad at himself for not, because it would have been an easy play. But again, take the sure thing, get the out.
That is 19 errors on Pedro Alvarez, by the way, on the season.
And, I watched him during batting practice today, as you'll get to see where Ludwig is when Martin fields his ball. He's not halfway there. And, Pedro kind of backpedaling, and maybe Russ just figured, we'll get the out. But in batting practice today, Pedro went through his normal routine, and his throws were fine. I maybe saw one in the dirt, but I probably saw him make 20 throws, and they were all on the money. Wasn't the typical rockets that he throws, though, and that's the one thing that I was always impressed with until obviously this little deal is like how accurate he was for how hard he threw it. He always threw it max effort, and it was always right on the money.
And it's not as easy to say, John, that rarely, if ever, have we seen him not be accurate on those swinging bunts coming in the bare hand plays. It seems to always be accurate, but here again, the ball right to it.
But for me on that particular thing, I think it maybe started from the footwork thing. Like on something like that, though, his feet were moving the whole time.
Ball hit deep to left, and Santiago hits one off the top of the wall. He will post into second base. It is 5-2. Ramon Santiago's second hit in 3 at-bats.
Trying to go inside. Got it right on the corner. Santiago able to get the barrel out. Halfway up the wall. I went through a similar thing in Double-A. I made 50 errors, and that's a ton.
Wow,
from third base, 50. And but I had fielding errors as well as throwing errors, but for me it was a combination of footwork and a release point. And I never was consistent with my release point, and then it gets to be in your head. And
how do you shake it? How did you shake it?
I found the consistent release point and consistently moved my feet. Actually, I dropped down. My arm slot went about 3/4, maybe a little lower than 3/4, and just kind of faded the ball over there. But it became a mental thing. You catch it and you think about it. And I think during batting practice, you go through your normal routine, everything's fine, but you're not thinking about it. It's just your normal routine. But I think it creeps back into your head, especially when you have a lot of time.
Donald Lutz, left-handed hitter, just back up to the big leagues. 6'3", 251 pounds. The 25-year-old bats for Contreras. Ray Searage paid Locke a visit as Jared Hughes gets up, loosening the Pirates bullpen. An unearned run, and really it should be 2 unearned runs against Jeff Locke, but the official score gave Billy Hamilton a bunt hit in the first inning. Hit hard and past Walker. Going to hold the runner at third as Polanco's throw rifled to Russell Martin. It's first and third with one out. A pinch hit single for Lutz. That's going to be it for Locke.
Trying to go back inside with a fastball, and Lutz able to get the barrel out there.
First and third, one out, a run in. Now the bullpen takes over. Keeping them thanks to Rob King as Jeff Locke goes back to the dugout, and now Jared Hughes with runners at first and third, one out. Chopper towards second, run in, 4-3 on the putout. It's now 5-3. Santiago scores.
Nice to get him out of the way. Jared Hughes, that sinker ball, getting the ground ball out. 33rd appearance, 4-2 ERA. After that out, right at 2.
Broken bat roller to the shortstop Mercer, and on to first to retire the side. 2 in, heading to the 8th. Pirates lead by a couple. Jeff Locke, line complete. Getting fist bumps, the hugs. 6 1/3, 3 runs, 1 earned. 9 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts.
Good work. You know, it's sign of a good pitcher when you don't have your best stuff. And he didn't have his best location tonight, but was still able to go out there and just the 1 earned run, which is questionable. But no free passes. Scattered to 9 hits. Just under 100 pitches. And then line for the win.
Here is Curtis Parch. That 9-man bullpen John mentioned earlier.
Scored upon in 4 1/3 innings.
Josh Harrison, Andrew McCutchen, Neil Walker. 36,613 on hand. Harrison has flied out and struck out twice. Back home in Cincinnati. Jay Hay. And an all-star this time.
Just another young pitcher throwing in the high 90s. 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Jay Hay finds himself again behind in the count.
3rd stint with the Reds this season. Last pitched on Tuesday for the AAA affiliate in Louisville. Last pitched for the Reds in April. Ball and 2 strikes. Pirates try to get at least a run or 2 back.
The slider that didn't slide ends up getting a piece of Jay Hay's bat.
Tony Watson is the Pirates' 8th inning man, setup man for Melanson.
Haven't seen Melanson in a while.
Stays 1 and 2.
It's starting to get it out there. Tied up on the previous pitch. That time got the barrel out on the 97, but just under it.
This out of play. It stays 1 and 2 on Harrison. Bucks were down 1-0 in the 1st inning when Billy Hamilton scored after a leadoff bunt single on a Zach Kozar double, and then in the 4th inning, Andrew McCutchen on deck, homered. Ed Alvarez came to the plate with 2 on, and he went deep. And a line drive to left. Ludwig makes the catch on the liner. Jared Hughes, just the 2nd inherited runner that has scored against him. Giving up that ground out to Billy Hamilton. He came on and got 2 ground ball outs. And how good quietly has Jared Hughes been this season?
Unsung hero, and starting to pitch into the later innings. Being a big part of that back end of the bullpen. Pretty impressive, though, how the starting pitching has turned and gone deeper into games. How often did we see it earlier in the year where Justin Wilson in the 6th and Tony Watson in the 7th and Melanson, then Gurley. It's been fairly rare to have a 7th inning guy.
He's becoming that for sure. Jared Hughes. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Parch falls behind McCutchen 2-1. I wish I had said speaking of Parch and then gone into that.
Yeah.
And the producer tonight, Jason Steele,
was all over.
Pretty quick with that one.
We were a little slow.
Adam Elmore watching at home. A weekend vacation for AE. Pedro Alvarez, I wonder what goes through his mind. And he's hit a big 3-run homer. But here his wild throw into the seats cost his team a couple of runs.
Just trying to, it's such a mental game, both at the plate and defensively. And, I think Pedro, he works so hard. And don't know this for sure, but it seems like oftentimes consumed, especially when it comes to hitting. And he's never really got to that place yet, searching for it. And despite the 3-run homer, he's still, a couple of other bats, chase some pitches. He's trying to get locked in, trying to find that comfort zone.
We have heard people suggest that they should just move Alvarez to first. Well, we've already seen that, and John has talked about, it's just not as easy as it sounds. We'll just move over there. Ask Jay Bruce, who in his 3rd game has had a couple of issues. And then the other thing, first of all, Pirates have 2 first basemen as it is.
Yep.
And really until Pedro Alvarez, tonight aside, starts to hit consistently with power, that is priority number 1.
Yep. And especially Pedro, his entire career, entire life, played on the left side of the infield, was a shortstop before becoming a 3rd baseman, and it's just different. Everything's flip-flopped when you're on that right side, and it takes some getting used to. And if that ever were to happen, that's something that would have to be discussed and worked on through an off season and a spring training. I think it would just be a very difficult and unfair thing to do in the middle of the season.
He already has the offensive part on his plate.
Sure.
That you don't need to throw that at him, too. Position switch. Ninth pitch of the at-bat is ball 3.
And that's what makes Andrew McCutchen so good. The velocity up 97 miles per hour, a hard slider. He has just so much bat speed, so much confidence that most hitters will be up there chasing that breaking ball. Andrew just looks as calm as ever.
Ten pitches this at bat. Last time up, he doubled into left center field off Carlos Contreras and scored. Homered in the 4th. Curtis Parch, 27 years old, from Merced, California. 6'5", 238 pounds. A little bit of time last year in the big leagues. And he walked him. Ball heads toward Pirates dugout. A 1-out free pass.
Let's see if we can get at least one of those runs back. Get some speed on first.
Yeah, see if McCutchen tries to run against the rookie. He is 15 for 15 in the stolen base department. Mesoraco has thrown out 27%, trying to steal.
Walker looking for his first hit. Has a big hole on that right side as Andrew leads off. That's another weird thing. Jay Bruce taking these throws from the pitcher so close to you. Guy 6'5", throws 97. It's a little uneasy. It's something you're not used to.
Gamer coming into this one. 0 for 3 tonight. And opponent 6 for 6 against Parch in the stolen base department. Going back to last season. On a strike on Walker. Two moves over, it looks as though, or again, just 2 moves over, it looked as though he pretty methodical. Parch. Not tough on those 2 moves for McCutchen to get back. And likewise, not close. Sometimes Clint Hurdle will, on a rare occasion, put a stop sign on for McCutchen only if he wants to keep that hole open. 2-1. Second baseman Santiago trying to take away some of that room.
Dale gears up for the fastball. Ready to go.
3-1.
Now he knows he's going to get it. And he's thinking about getting that base hit, extending the hitting streak. Perhaps driving in McCutchen from first.
Parch has walked 4 in 4 2/3 innings. He walked 17 in 23 innings last year. He walks another. 2 aboard. Here comes Russell Martin. It's a Free Shirt Friday, July 18th, 1 week from tonight. Pirates Rockies. First 25,000 fans get a Garrett Cole t-shirt thanks to Mrs. T's Pierogies. And don't forget about the block party on Federal Street before the game just outside the ballpark, featuring local live music, plus alumni appearances by former Pirates second baseman Rennie Stennon. Go to pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday. Garrett Cole currently on the DL. He'll have at least a couple of rehab stints in the minors this time. So we won't see him right out of the gate, but hopefully before too long, Garrett Cole will return to the rotation. 0-1. Martin, RBI single in the 6th. Parch out in front of the Pirates catcher 0-2. Again, it was learned earlier that Miguel Montero, the Diamondbacks, will take Yadier Molina's spot at the All-Star game. So Russell Martin will enjoy 4 days off.
Rest up. As hard as he plays, certainly could use it.
The team is probably better off, and Martin certainly as well. Would love to go to an All-Star game again, but rest up that body. Russell Martin, 3-time All-Star. 07 and 08 with the Dodgers, and 2011 as a Yankee. 1-2. Checks 2-2.
Because of where Mesoraco sets up, they're not going to call that very often. He's set up down and away. The pitch goes up and in. He's catching that corner.
Two and two. Well, this time he gets the call. How about that?
He's not happy about it. He wants the RBIs.
Phillips Colbert this time brings him up.
Let's see how it compares to the one beforehand.
Oh.
Right on top of it. That's crazy. 2 bad sliders in a row. One goes for a ball, the other gets the call. And the catcher drops it on top of everything else.
Two outs, Pedro Alvarez. Takes ball 1. 3-run blast in the 4th inning of the right field wall. Traveled some 419 feet. First time up, he popped out to third, and the last time up against the reliever Contreras, he struck out.
I like the fact that, when Pedro's locked in, you see he takes pitches like he did those first 2. Didn't even flinch. And especially against a hard thrower, he gets 2 change-ups in a row.
Lays off.
Yeah, and that's a borderline pitch, a 2-0 changeup, and that's a good sign for Pedro. Slowing things down. Guessing he has green light here.
Four-pitch walk. He's walked, the bases loaded.
4 straight changeups.
Now Ike Davis will pinch hit for Gabby Sanchez. Here in the 8th, the Pirates have a 2-run lead. Jeff Pico, the pitching coach. Curtis Parch got the first out when Josh Harrison lined out to left after a handful of pitches, and then that long at bat for McCutchen ended with a walk. Neil Walker drew the free pass. Martin, thanks to home plate umpire Phillips Colbert, giving that last call to Parch. Struck out Martin, and here a 4-pitch walk to Alvarez. Out of town scores there in the 9th inning, and the Philadelphia Phillies are out in front. It was an A.J. Burnett start, wasn't it?
Yeah, A.J. pitched well. Phillies are hot.
Burnett went 7 2/3, 2 runs, 5 hits. Ike Davis. Here's the righty Parch. Lines it foul out of play, 97.
Yeah, that's a head scratcher for me. He did first and second, 2 outs, and 4 straight changeups to Pedro Alvarez. And you throw a fastball and it goes to 97. Pretty good numbers for Ike with the bases full.
On and one. Davis 3 out of 13 as a pinch hitter, and one of those hits a grand slam that was against the Reds. One and two. Off that 99-mile-per-hour fastball. It's 2-2.
No wonder at 27 years old, with so little time in the big leagues, what's taken him so long with that kind of arm. Obviously, command a bit of an issue.
Struck him out. Bases left loaded. Pirates still up 5-3. The 8th inning here in Cincinnati. Pirates leading and looking for 6 outs. And our AT&T fan photo a long ways away, I believe, for this one. Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Wow.
That shot. Those Pirate fans with the Zoltan Z. Keep them coming in. Use the hashtag BucksFanPhoto. Russell Martin would like that. Mike Davis stays in the ball game. He is at first. Josh Harrison moving from left field to third base. Travis Snyder is now out in left field. Tony Watson, the new Pirates pitcher. He'll bat in Alvarez's spot. Ball one on Frazier. 3, 4, 5 men in the order. Snyder will bat in the 9th spot. That'll be go up second in the 9th inning. Right away, Snyder tested, and he's there. 1 down in the 8th.
Always seems to work that way. You get put in for defense, and the ball will find you.
Well, what a find the Pirates have in this all-star lefty, Tony Watson. 0.84 ERA.
I like to see guys be rewarded for good work, and he's been great, really. 3 above-average pitches that he can command.
Toward right center field, a long run from McCutchen, using that great speed there easily.
Nice to see, we got Billy Hamilton on the other side, and Andrew McCutchen. Those gaps close quickly. See Andrews jump.
Two outs.
Can't teach speed.
Oh. 96 heat upstairs to Mesoraco. The unassuming Tony Watson looking for the final out here in the 8th.
And that is the other amazing thing about it. You wonder how many people outside of our division know who Tony Watson is.
The rest of the world will know him on Tuesday night. Deep to left. Devin Mesoraco hammers this one to the second deck. Wow. A bomb makes it a 1-run game. Tony Watson. A rare home run allowed. Just the second of the season. And the first since April the 19th.
Didn't get it high enough. Had pitches to waste. See, Russell Martin wanted it up. He wanted it up higher than that.
A look from the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Devin Mesoraco. His first hit of the night, his 16th home run. His 3rd of the season against Pittsburgh. So one all-star homers off another. Local product, Western Pennsylvanian, hurts his club. Still a 1-run lead. This will travel some 419 feet.
No doubter. And now you got to be careful here with the 2-0 count. You don't want to give anything to Ludwig that he can hit out. guess I would bet that he is swinging here. Oh, surprised by that. Tony takes a little off. Pretty good pitch to hit, Ludwig. And that's a pretty good pitch to hit.
Pops this one up, and this is going to drop in. Pop up that drops into right center field for a hit.
Comes right after him, ties him up. Pirates playing against the double, so everybody's deep.
And again, Watson has to be careful against Chris Heisey. He's 0 for 3 tonight. 2 home runs this season, 7 in his career against the Pirates, the most against any club for Heisey. Line to left, base hit. Two on for Ramon Santiago.
2 quick outs and 3 straight hits. Very rare to see that. A little stress here with 2 outs in the 8th. And now take off the no doubles. You play straight up now and them outfielders in, get the corner infielders off the lines.
Santiago 2 hits tonight and 8 hits in 18 at bats as a right-handed batter. Aldis Chapman and Logan Ondrusek loosened in the bullpen for Cincinnati. Chapman is the closer. 1-1 on Santiago. Switching backup catcher Brian Pena is out on deck. Play, and it's 1-2.
Strike away of getting out of it. With the short bench, Ludwig, no one to pinch run for him. He's at second base. Might have a chance, a hard hit ball if it gets through, at least in the corners.
And in towards center field, and into center it goes, and this is going to tie the game. Wow. Ramon Santiago with his 3rd hit and 4 straight hits off Tony Watson. It's 5-5.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Tony Watson giving up 4 straight hits. And this pitch is a changeup off the plate. That's one you tip your cap. Tip your cap to the hitter. He's able to go out there, extend.
Ray Searage out. Ernesto Frieri loosening in the Pirates bullpen.
Well, these fans have been fairly quiet until that Mesoraco homer.
Ryan Pena, the pinch hitter. That's 190 from this side of the plate. 271 as a left-handed hitter. Watson have to work this hard normally. 20 pitches. It's popped up. It looks like it's headed toward the seats. Davis is over, and it bounces just toward the front row before Davis or Polanco or Walker can get there.
It's a crazy game. The one mistake to Mesoraco brings them within one. You get the blue pit, then Heisey hits the ball hard, and another little flare off the end of the bat. And we know you're going to face Chapman in the ninth.
And into right center field, the Reds take the lead. It is 6-5. After two were out, 5 straight hits.
Not sure what that pitch is. I don't know if that's his slider. Not a lot of break to it. Certainly wasn't the fastball at 89 miles per hour.
Clint Hurdle is going to the bullpen again. He's lifting Tony Watson. Pirates brought to you by Nissan. Tomorrow night, Charlie Morton against Mike Leake. Sunday afternoon, it's Francisco Liriano against Johnny Cueto. An absolute stunner here in Cincy as the Reds, well, they scored 200 runs in the 7th, and they have, with 2 outs, come back now to take the lead. A 3 spot off Tony Watson, the most runs he's allowed since April 30th of last year when he gave up 3 against the Milwaukee Brewers. Ernesto Frieri.
Hamilton, you got to watch for the bunt. He's been locked in.
And he's looking for his 4th hit.
left that fastball up and kind of took a walk and was staring at Billy Hamilton. I don't know if he was unhappy with the big hack.
One and two.
Tried to go in, missed on the outer half, but gets the strike. That's pretty impressive. 368 with runners in scoring position.
Two and two on Hamilton. You'll never know. No guarantees. Chopper. Frieri will toss to the catcher. How about that play?
Wow.
Pretty heads up by Frieri with the speed of Hamilton. Well, Bucks have their work cut out for them now as Aroldis Chapman will take the hill. Sees Aroldis Chapman emerge from the Reds bullpen. Flame-throwing lefty. Aroldis Chapman going to his third straight All-Star game. Chris Heisey will move from right field to left field. Jay Bruce has moved from first base to right field. Brian Pena has stayed in the game to play first base. He had a pinch hit single that gave the Reds this lead.
Chapman's numbers, as you would expect, are impressive. The opponents hit 140 against him, 54 strikeouts and 27 2/3 innings. It's just about 2 per inning. He's 10 walks, 2.28 ERA.
He's added pitches, it seems. I mean, he's growing more confident. The changeup.
I don't know how many times Brian Price has done this or how often it's happened with Chapman, who's had on occasion more than just a 3-out save. In fact, we saw it June the 19th when he got 4 outs against the Pirates, but he's now pitched in this is the 4th straight day, and he threw 21 pitches yesterday. You look for any opening, and you figured Tony Watson was almost unhittable, but the Reds erupted, so we'll see if the Pirates can't do the same here against a guy that would appear to be unhittable in Chapman. 99. Chapman was involved in a little bit of controversy yesterday. By the way, taking a look at the numbers career-wise, Jordy Mercer 0 for 3 with a couple of walks in his career against Chapman.
And he does a good job of pretty much throwing it where he wants to. And he has pretty decent command. Got away with one there. That's a hanging slider. He's fortunate. Jordy Mercer certainly, if he could barrel this up, it's a tie ball game. You don't want to leave that pitch up there like that. That's one he got away with. That's hard to foul off. Fastball at the letters. He gets a lot of swings and misses at this pitch. Take. It's a good eye.
2-2 as Watson looks on. This is already, I think, the third time that he has pitched. Talking about Chapman in 4 straight days. Began the year on the DL after he took that line drive to the head in spring training.
Still throwing over 100. Pretty amazing.
Mercer hangs in there.
Snyder, you see, will not hit in the pitcher's spot. Clint Hurdle pulled the double switch when he brought Watson in.
Struck him out looking. 1 out.
Pretty much everything was in, and then he goes away. I'm sure Mercer was looking in and couldn't pull the trigger, couldn't fight it off. That's a pretty good location. And again, when you talk about Chapman and the incidents he's had with throwing at guys, and you can see right there, he has pretty good command typically.
Michael Martinez, who was a non-roster invite to spring training, has been with the Pirates for just a couple of brief stints, takes a strike. He's a switch hitter. For 4. Matt Haig, up from the minor leagues, is on deck. You want to talk about a tough task. It is almost impossible if you're an established right-handed hitter in the big leagues, let alone a guy like Michael Martinez, who had a lot of playing time with the Phillies over the previous 3 years. But spending most of the year AAA Indy, they have not seen anything like this.
No. Chapman, you got to be thinking short and quick, not long and hard. You shorten it up as much as you can.
Good night. 102. And Matt Haig will pinch hit for Gregory Polanco.
waste much time here. Challenging Martinez, then going upstairs.
Haig with his second at bat. The other day he pinch hit. It was on Wednesday against the Cardinals. Hit into a double play. 28-year-old Matt Haig. 102. Haig made the Pirates roster out of spring training in 2012 and played in 30 games. Two. Chapman looking for his 20th save since coming off the DL. Got it. And the Reds celebrate the comeback, scoring 2 in the 7th and 3 in the 8th to stun the Pirates.
They came back the other day. They're a confident club that's playing well. And the Pirates, I mean, this just never happened to this team last year. You just didn't see it happen. When they had a lead, they won the game. They nailed it down. Very rare to see Tony Watson. I don't think we'll ever see that again from Tony Watson, giving up 5 straight hits. As Chapman, 103 miles per hour, he finishes it off, challenging Matt Haig. And it's a tough loss. They had a couple tough ones in St. Louis.